So I'm going to explain what I mean by negative karmic influence.
Okay.
The most concise definition I have for karma, and this is mostly intuitive, is that karma, the basis of karma is whatever you do to anyone, you do to yourself only. Whatever you do to yourself only. There's one consciousness here. There's not 7 billion consciousnesses. Basically one consciousness. And that consciousness translates our actions, what we think, what we say, and what we do, into effects. So whatever we say towards someone, do towards someone, if we at some point we're going to experience the effects because we are the one consciousness. Now many times we overestimate to what degree we have agency. And so it's quite interesting how we overestimate our agency, usually often to our own detriment. Now, I'll give you an example of what I mean by negative karmic influence in relation to agency. I'm going to make up an example. Let's say you have a young doctor. He's fairly new and to become a full doctor, so he's fairly new, maybe 6 months, 9 months, a year, or maybe 2 years into the practice. And he's working in an emergency room. And he's very earnest, very sincere, very dedicated, truly wants to help and serve people. And then an elderly man comes in who has fallen or had some kind of little accident and dislocated his shoulder. So I think the protocol is have the man take a muscle relax and slide down, check on him again in 2, 3, 4 hours. I don't know the exact protocol, but that's more or less probably what it is. So the young doctor, in a very caring manner, follows procedure. However, the elderly man ends up with an aspiration. Then the young doctor concludes, oh, I've really hurt this man. You know, the truth is he didn't hurt the man. He did everything he could, and he came from a loving place. And let's say the truth behind the story is the elderly man wanted to die, but at the same time was afraid to die. So he just kind of left the whole thing up to the hospital. So the desire to die was the real sort of underlying mechanics of the aspiration, and his fear to die made him take the whole thing to the hospital. And our young doctor was kind of at the mercy of this other man, his will. There's a quote in Bhagavad Gita, and I'm probably going to butcher it. I think it's in chapter 2. Krishna says, when Arjuna asked him about, going out in this war and killing his uncles and cousins and all these people who are in his family, Krishna says something like this: Arjuna, whatever you do with no malice in your heart, you do not incur negative karma. So many times in our lifetime or our ancestors' lives or our previous lives, so it's a whole complex and matrix of karmic influence. But many of those influences are simply when we assumed more agency than we really were capable of. Krishna, of course, goes on to explain to Arjuna that life and death it's in the hands of God. It's in the hands of a much larger cosmic force. It's not in the hands of an individual alone. So the thing is now we took on those negative influence. We generated the negative karmic influence at a lesser developed state of consciousness. Now that we are at a more developed state of consciousness, it's important that we clean all these up. It's just like you buy a house. You may want to go in and clean out the closets and the basement and the garage and the attic of the house you purchased as you move into it. You don't just leave all the stuff that's in there. So like that, we've moved in a higher state of consciousness. Have we really cleaned all the things in the attic and the garage and the basement? So for this, we're going to go through a little guided meditation process.
Okay.
And just close your eyes and relax. Take a little deeper breath in, a little deeper, a little faster. And as you slowly breathe out, relax. Another second breath in, a little deeper, a little faster. And as you breathe out, relax even more. And a third breath, a little deeper, a little faster in. And as you breathe out, just relax completely. And we're going to go through a process as though we're entering, as though in an airport. Like, just picture like an airport. And at the airport, you have to go through a screening device and system that ensures you don't carry any weapons or liquids, anything that could be used to the detriment of the journey forward. So like that, we're going to go through a process to make sure we're not taking with us into the forward journey any of these unnecessary negative karmic influences. And just imagine you go up to the system, present your credentials, and there's a person there. That's an elderly, very wise man. And when he receives your credentials, he's going to do a search, complete search through all the Akashic records, all your lifetime, all your timelines, past lives, ancestral lives, and find any negative karmic influence. And he's using a very high-speed, very complex computing system. And so he has a list of all the negative karmic influences. And he says to you, sir, in order to proceed, you will have to release all these negative karmic influence. Are you willing to do so? And so you're going to stand there and be firm in yourself, be very clear in yourself that you are willing, and say to him, I am completely willing to release all my negative karmic influences. You just say that verbally. You're really, know that you're talking to your system, your total and complete memory, if you want to call it Akashic records, that works. You're just going to say, I'm perfectly and completely willing to totally release all these negative karmic influences.
I am perfectly and completely willing to totally release all of these negative karmic influences.
Okay, great. The next thing you do, you're going to begin to walk through this well-developed, very precise mechanism, apparatus, screening thing. It's like a filter. And you slowly start to walk through, and your very front of your body is entering the field now. And you're about a quarter of the way through. You can just imagine that filter examining your system. This means your body, your mind, your emotion, your spirit body, and filtering out all the negative karmic influence. And you're a good 30%, 1/3 of the way through. And you're about halfway through. That's 60%. And about 75%. Now you're 100% of the way through. And there's a magnificent, angelic, feminine presence who's waiting for you there. She says she will proceed with you and guide you. through the rest of your journey so that you will definitely enter the great portal to the highest state of consciousness and realization. And you feel light, you feel free, and you feel deeply reassured by this angelic presence. And she's taking you into a waiting room prior to boarding and beginning the next leg of your journey, the journey into the great portal. This portal, the great portal, does not mean the death of your body. It just means the next leg of your next portion, the next chapter in the journey of your life. That it will be made smoother, made easier, and that all your negative karmic influence has been released, all that's possible. And you feel a great reassurance that you're being guided and protected, and that your life process will be as smooth as possible, smooth and joyful. Okay, now the process is complete, and when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes.